Hi, my name is Robert Lamont. I'm a client director based in Melbourne and I work for Aon Australia, responsible for Aon's national education practice group. So when the Unimutual formed, they really focused on the group of 8 universities and that relationship has matured with Aon a lot over the last 10 years. So we work very closely with the entire mutual team across all the services in claims, risk management and risk transfer. In terms of trends, so what's happening now, particularly I'll talk in the context of the Australian insurance market, they're looking for profit. So they've had premium growth over a period of time, but they're now turning their attention, driven by the investors, to make profit. So they do that via various means, and one of which of course is risk selection. So they work very closely with their client base to make sure that the clients that they underwrite and put down capital are managing risk properly. Unquestionably, the biggest risk that we have is what's happening on the federal level with the education minister. And what that person decides to do in terms of how they allocate funding to the Australian university environment will have the most dramatic impact. So the importance of government relationships with vice chancellors and that education minister is absolutely key. The other thing that's prevalent that we're watching very closely, of course, is anything connected to cyber. A large-scale cyber event that impacts course delivery will have a considerable impact on the teaching experience for universities and therefore students. From our perspective, that business hygiene in terms of getting the risk management practices right, getting the risk engineering reports right, the crisis management, the business continuity, the evaluations, so all those fundamentals need to be addressed, and the mutual play a key part in helping us work with clients on that. When we scour the market, we look at who focuses heavily on risk management, on risk transfer, on claims capabilities, who understands the sector and the specialists in the sector, who will pay a large claim and will be there from day 2 and 3, etc. So the mutual for me ticks all of those boxes. So one of the things that our clients look for and absolutely do value is the ability to speak to their peers at their fellow universities throughout Australia. All have common challenges, common problems, and there's nothing that one university hasn't experienced that another hasn't seen. So we totally welcome conferences like this where people have the ability to share ideas. Clients pay us as brokers to really put them at the front of the queue in terms of premium terms and conditions, outcomes, leverage, etc. So if we don't have an exceptionally strong relationship with the mutual, we offer diminished value to our clients, so we absolutely focus on that. We sit down with our clients and make sure they're fully informed in terms of what's happening from a global perspective in the industry, from a local perspective on the Australian insurers, and then have discussions in regards to what's happening in the Australian university setting. From them, we'll talk about the topical issues, how losses have impacted either them directly or some of their fellow universities, and therefore we're having a conversation with them in regards to how they differentiate their risk profile when we engage with the mutual to sell their risk profile, so that the work and the investment that they've expended on risk and risk management and resources is absolutely understood, and therefore that differentiator comes into play. Yeah, so we see this all day and every day with our clients, and those phone calls and emails that go back and forth between the mutual and our clients are always answered in a very positive way. What's important for us, and more importantly our clients, is when they ask the mutual these questions, their responses are backed with the wealth of knowledge, given that they're the preeminent risk transfer partner for universities in Australia. The other key aspect, of course, is claims. So there's just multiple examples of universities having challenging, really problematic, complex claims, where the likes of Jamie and others within the mutual really come to the fore and really demonstrate the true value in terms of why you buy a risk transfer product. The things that we consider, do they understand the sector? Are they specialists in their field? Will they pay large claims and still be there for you the next day? Do they have very strong claims management personnel? Do they have very strong risk management personnel and what does that holistic service offering looks like. The Mutual buys a lot of reinsurance that sits behind the protection, so we take a very close look at that to make sure that the security that sits behind that program is robust and will be there for year after year. The Mutual do that better than any other, in my opinion. So what the Mutual do exceptionally well is just understand those unique nuances that exist at a university. So again, coming back to the example of temperature-controlled environments, when those adverse events happen, they're very difficult. So you'll speak to a researcher who'll be at immense pain in terms of losing years of research, pretty much impossible to value and pretty much impossible to replace. So just the ability to have those sensitive conversations with the researchers and try and come up with a solution in terms of monetary aspect is quite difficult, and I think the Mutual does that well. So I've been coming to the Mutual conferences for about a decade now. Always enjoy it. It really is the preeminent risk management conference for universities in Australia. What we get out of course, is just the ability to spend time with our clients and universities across the whole setting. It truly is a collegiate atmosphere. As I mentioned before, our competitors are competing for the same funding, same research, same student body, but the willingness to share ideas and have conversations for common needs and goals is absolutely prevalent at a conference like this. So what we're saying to our clients, so obviously we always look at the risk landscape. There's a lot of commentary and literature around things like cyber, so I won't talk about that. But you really can't do a lot wrong by focusing on the fundamentals. So things like risk engineering, having responses to all the recommendations that come in, taking proper due diligence and care with those responses is absolutely important. For me, it all leads towards collaboration and interaction with industry. The big one that's absolutely relevant to the insurance industry is, of course, climate change. So from an insurance perspective, any weather peril event, be it bushfire, windstorm, flood, hail, etc., that impacts multiple insureds has a dramatic impact on the industry. So anything that the university can do to interact with industry in regards to that sustainability piece for the protection of the buildings is a huge opportunity. So universities will always take a very close watch on the international aspect, largely driven around the ability to send their students offshore to have a wonderful student experience working in or studying in a different country, and of course bringing students from other countries into Australia. And it's very important from an insurance perspective that we're there to partner with our universities as they negotiate through political and geographic environments that are vastly different to Australia. We always try to avoid the scenario where insurance and risk management and risk transfer becomes a procurement exercise and effectively just a cost and another bill. So we work closely with our universities to make sure that their risk transfer program is a strategic benefit for them and enables them to interact with industry, to collaborate, to grow, to work overseas, to send students overseas, and that our risk transfer programs are there supporting the universities in their strategic endeavours.